Waiting for people to join. I know a minute gotta pass before I start being able to get into some of this stuff. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, there we go. We got some people in. They make you wait a minute before you can really get into this stuff. Let's see. What's going on, guys? Peace. Yeah, let me see how many people we got in here. I gotta get this thing. I'm still new to using this shit, so I gotta figure out how this thing. Let me see. All right. Okay, I'm scrolling. Hey, what's going on, EJ? Kevin, what's the deal? Let me see. Oh yeah, we got 45 people already. My light is blocking for me to see the numbers. This bright ass light up there. All right, let me see. Scroll down a little bit. All right. Wait for a little bit more people. Miss LJ, what's going on? If y'all in Vegas, I hope y'all beating this heat. It's like 111 over here. I got 60 so far. Oh, Guyana in the building. What's going on? Got Canada in the building. Courtney, what's up? Let me see. 2026. Yeah, I had to push this joint back because the last live stream I was supposed to do the second one, it was just got way too busy. It's a lot going on. Then I knew people was going to probably not be up on the 4th, so I waited till today. Busy day. So I wanted to give myself enough time to be able to come on here and do this. And I know a lot of people busy. It's Friday. A lot of people out. People got shit to do. But I want to see if I can get more people than last time. There's a lot of people that was upset that they missed the live stream, the first one. And there wasn't, a lot of people didn't get the messages, and that's what happens. A lot of people not getting that shit. Yeah, I'll definitely do a seminar. I'm gonna be live streaming seminars from Merkabah Academy. I'm gonna do some lectures from Merkabah Academy. That's what we're setting up right now because YouTube shit is just, they got too many rules and it's just crazy. I would like it to be on my own platform so I can do what I want to do. JR, peace. David, what's the deal from Bermuda? Well, y'all already got Saturn questions. Okay. Kern, I appreciate it. Yeah, there's a lot of people who didn't get the message, Kevin. There's a lot of people that was hitting me up after the fact. They missed it. They didn't get the alerts. You can look in the comments for some of them. LC, that's right. Phillies once again. I'm not going to make it a regular thing putting on Philly stuff when I live stream. It just so happened it's a Phillies day. Big game versus the Braves. So, if you know me, I'm a huge baseball fan, especially my Phillies. Giovanni, what's the deal? Let me see where we at. Let's get a couple more before I get into this live stream. We almost at 100. Brian, what's the deal? Rohan from North Philly, G10. Oh shit, Allegheny. Be careful out there. Trinidad, hell yeah. I eat some Trinidad food. Nick from London, what's the deal? Alex, you in Henderson, so you already know we out here baking. I'm in Summerlin right now. North Jersey, oh shit. What's the deal, Erica? All right, where we at? We hit 94. We climbing. 602 in the building. What's the deal, Aunt Dub? Nebraska. Oh shit, Jason, what's the deal? That's something I never thought I'd see. All right, Terrell, St. Louis, and then my brother lives in St. Louis. All right, cool. We hit 100. All right, so Atlanta in the building. I'll actually be out there not too long from now. Where we at? Okay. Oh yeah. So for anybody who missed the first live stream, I was explaining what happened with the books and a legal situation with that whole thing. Like I sent out emails. A lot of people didn't get the emails, but I wanted to come on here and personally thank the people who have been supporting and understanding about the situation. And anybody who wanted the refunds, if you went to your bank and got them, I really appreciate that since what happened with my account happened. But I got a lot of messages from people about this situation, and I just wanted to explain what happened, which I did in the first live. And it's a lot going on with it legally, but it's basically almost done. So my situation is getting a lot better. So I appreciate everybody with the support who've been reaching out and asking questions about what's going on with me and what have you. What I want to get into in this video is having to do with, well, stock market final is, well, it'll be out in a couple hours. When this live stream is over, it'll be out because it's basically finishing up right now. So that'll be out today, well, tonight, I should say, stock market final. But yeah, the link is in the description for a stock market final. As a matter of fact, for everybody, you can get the first four, whoever, just like I did with the last video. If you buy this stock market, you'll get the other stock market videos with it. So make sure you guys grab that. And it's only $39 for this live stream. So I'll do it like that. When the live stream is over, the price will go back to normal. But I'll do that. Oh shit, Newport News, VA. I used to live out there. What's the deal? But yeah, so stock market. There's a lot going on with that. I want people to look into the situation with immigration, which we'll get into with that. Yes, exactly. NVIDIA is good to invest in. That's what we're talking about. If you're investing in AIs right now, you're winning. AIs is the future. NVIDIA just leapfrogged everybody and came into the top spot, and it's trading in a trillion. Something I never thought I would say in my lifetime. We have a company that's trading evaluation worth 3.3, I believe it's 3.3 or 3.2 trillion dollars. That's NVIDIA. NVIDIA is killing the game, and they have a lot going on right now. It's a lot coming up, but it's basically what we talked about in like other videos as far as they're advancing with technology. And I got into the last stock market with blockchain, and they're using that blockchain technology to do so much. Like AI is the big deal. It's the future. All these stocks, we got NVIDIA, you got OpenAI. I talk about if you guys are using Chat GPT, which is bananas. Chat GPT, if you don't have it, you need to download it. It's a free software that is like the future. You can ask it questions and it will give you an answer like you talking to a person. It can fix code, which is the craziest part for it. Like if you have an error message in your code, anybody who codes, you're building a website or what have you, and you have an error message you can't fix, you can actually put it into Chat GPT, and they'll fix the code and give you the correct code and break it down and tell you the problems. That is advanced. That is sophisticated shit right there. And now Google is coming out with Google Gemini, which is going to be better than Chat GPT. So Google Gemini is nuts. It's a lot of expansive AI that's coming out, expressive AI, and it's expanding crazy right now as far as that sector. So AI right now is basically geared up to be the next .com. That's the next biggest thing. How the .com bubble. That's what AI right now. So AI stocks is like booming and it's crazy. Nigeria, what's the deal? No, no, Nvidia ain't going nowhere. Trust me. They're actually know a couple of people that work for them. Their plans and what they got coming forward is nuts. Nvidia has been around for a long time. If you're a gamer, you already know. So they're not going nowhere. It's everybody said that with it topped out with Bitcoin. Bitcoin was supposed to have been done. Look where it's at right now. It's nuts. So yeah, Nvidia is going to go places. Have you used GPT for all experience no, I haven't used GPT really extensively, like, but I definitely use it. It's good. Yeah, AI will change humanity forever. That's what we get into in the video. Like, it's a lot. It's more to that with AI as far as like how it's being used with the market. Like a lot of people got to realize like the way they got their hands into everything globally is through the stock market. Like powers that be, if you want to really affect something or touch businesses, but you can't really physically touch them, or you want to control what's going on, you use the stock market. The stock market controls businesses globally. It controls policy, everything. Everything is run through the stock market when you pay attention. Like the cost of our food, our gas, and everything, all that is affected by the market. And that's how they control a lot of stuff, like making it seem as if it has to do with evaluations and predictions and everything like that when they're really controlling it. Yeah, crypto's on sale. It ain't going nowhere. LA Harris, what's the deal? Keith, let me see. He's chat. GPT. Oh yeah, the new one, the four. That's the upgrade. The 4.0 one or the four GPT 4 is supposed to be better. Let me see. Vegas logo. You guys got good questions. Oculus. No, they did a study on Scorpion King for the Oculus question. They did a whole study on. That's the first thing I looked into with Oculus and all the VR stuff. Like, is it messing with your brain in any type of way? And I mean, anytime when you have something like that that's beamed into your eyes, you got to really think about how it affects your nervous system or what have you. And it's like, I mean, you can't really test for the future, but as of right now, I mean, they can predict. They don't see any super long term effects unless you're using it all day, every day, walking around 24/7 with it. That could be a problem. Ethereum, good, yeah. You have Ethereum. Let me see. You ask Chat GPT some crazy questions. Me too. Stephen Samuels, sit on those stocks. Don't those stocks I talked about. We're waiting for what is this is what I get into in the new video. Those stocks were waiting for what's happening now. A lot of those stocks I gave you guys in the first stock market video are waiting for this. These are preliminary companies that built up to this. So a lot of these companies, when they come into the market, they're looking for funding. And once they get that funding, I mean, look at what Microsoft has done with OpenAI. Microsoft put what $1 billion in OpenAI, and then another billion, and look what they've been giving us. So a lot of those companies start off just small, and they're waiting for investments in stocks or what have you for them to shoot up. That's the trick right there. Getting in early and then sitting on those stocks. I told you guys in the beginning, these are stocks to sit on because there's things that's going to happen that's going to cause those to go up. Now these stocks I'm giving you in stock market final in this new video, these are the ones you really want to buy that's going to have instant growth super fast because they're all going up quick, super fast. But if you already investing in AI right now, you already know. But I got some key stocks to definitely invest in because it's important. These stocks is, of course, the video one if you can afford it. But it's a bunch of companies that's doing a lot of things that a lot of people not really looking into, but they're going to grow and be crazy. Let me see. What do we have? We have 153 already. That's good. Problem. Let me see. Yeah, when you pay attention to how a lot of these, because one of the companies that I want you guys to invest in is a robotics company that's using AI. They coming up with all kinds of stuff. You guys seen the robot bartenders and the robot cashiers now? I mean, they got the robotics is the future. They got these robots that can perform complex surgeries and everything right now. So a lot of jobs that's like real technical is definitely going to be out the door for one speed. That's the main thing because more progress you get, the faster the stuff you can do things, is more progress, more money. So a lot of jobs like cashiers and everything like that. I don't know where you live at, but Walmart over here is like really getting rid of the self checkout. They allow like only a little bit of people. They really want to get rid of the whole thing, and they already talking about AI, using AI and robots to do checkout soon. So that's coming, of course, because Walmart got the money. But yeah, job is going to be tough. A lot of, especially manual labor jobs. If you picking shit up and putting things down, yeah, you're going to be out of a job. Pop Smoke veteran, welcome back. What's the deal? Oh yeah, robot soldiers for draft. That won't even be necessary by that point, because it's not really about effectiveness. It's the psychological part of war, getting humans to fight these fights, and they're using the fear for that. They don't want robots to do that because there's no humans can sit back and be like, oh well, it is what it is. But it's the fear of being having to go out there. Remember, they just already passed the law. Just if it's necessary to start the draft, they would be able to. iPhone, I use iPhone and Samsung. I feel like you gotta have both. I like iPhone. I'm on iPhone right now. It's the 14 Pro Max, I think it is. Um, like you need both. Like I can't go one over there. Like Android. My Galaxy. What is it called? The new one, Ultra. I got the Ultra 22 or 23, I forget. But that's like my office. Like that phone, like I need that phone. That phone, iPhone is cool, but Android has a lot of different widgets and stuff that's good for businesses. That stylus, the little S Pen, is perfect for people that's if you do a lot of business stuff, you need that pen. It helps out. Like if I need to edit on the go actually, or need to do some work, I go to Android. But I like iPhone too. Yeah, I feel like you gotta have both. Just like with video games, like you can't just have PlayStation 5. You gotta have Xbox. You gotta have everything. I'm personally a PC gamer over everything, but I feel like you gotta have all that shit. Let me see. Kamala Harris probably won't be president. I doubt that. She's going hard though right now for Biden. Like the thing you got to pay attention to with Trump and the whole thing is like nobody is understanding because we're in America. A lot of people don't realize Brexit. Brexit, which I talk about in Stock Market Final, is coming back up. They actually had an election in the EU yesterday, July the 4th. And a lot of the stuff that they are talking about and running on has to do, well, they want to be quiet about Brexit, but they're implementing the same type of policies that Biden is as far as immigration, something to pay close attention to. Remember when Trump first came in, it was border wall, what have you. And remember, they got that same wall over there in Europe. It looks the same. It was like the same company that built the shit. It's the same damn wall over there. So it's a lot more to that. But yeah, we got to pay attention to that because, as I said, with the real agenda behind these immigrants and why they coming in and why Biden is giving them the world and everything to come over here has a lot to do with, what's coming up. So that's something to look at. And the thing that we're both having the same issue in the EU and here, it tells you that this is going to be a global thing. Yeah, if you're young and a lot of people ask you, I got a lot of young people on here. Um, I tell everybody get into computers, like get into like software engineering. It's going to be crazy money. Software engineers make a lot of money. They have a lot of conferences, a lot of them out here in Vegas. So if you're young and you're looking for something to do, you don't know what to do, you want to do something that makes a lot of money. Software engineer is good. Computer science is good, which I have my degree in. So computer science is definitely up there. Software engineering is up there. I will highly recommend that. Yeah, uranium stock is hitting right now. Oh yeah, I didn't even know that. Uh, yeah, drone. It's a company. What's it called? Precept, I think it's called. The stock div is like PRCT. I forget what it is, but it's a biotechnology company that is doing some crazy stuff there. The ones that's making those uh, autonomous drones and unmanned drones, and now they're having like unmanned like shipping vehicles or what have you. That's like the next thing. You're going to see driverless Amazon cars going down the street to just bring stuff back and forth. So that company is working on that, and it's a lot of people investing in that. So it's a lot of these biotechnology companies that's getting a lot of play, a lot of money. Anything that's having to do with AI, everybody is just jumping on it and throwing massive amounts of money at it, which is why it's a good time to get into those stocks, because I think in the next couple of years they're going to like triple, quadruple what they're worth today. Where we at? I'm missing a lot of questions. Karen, what's the deal? I said Maurice, Keith Baker. What's up? Let's see. Shango Universe, what's the deal? Peace and blessings. Crypto by 2025. Um, Crypto ain't going nowhere because, I mean, that's the ultimate goal is to have a, dollar back, a CBDC. They want the dollar to be backed by digital currency, backed by gold and silver, and that's the goal of what they want to do. But it's a lot has to happen for that to happen, because commodities is priced in dollars. So if you pay attention to the Dow Jones, or like if you look at anything stock, of course, why they always talking about the Dow or S&P 500, because the Dow basically monitors the top 30 commodity countries in the planet, and when they're reporting that, and that includes Apple, Microsoft is involved in those, but when they are reporting earnings and it's up, that really is like the one thing a lot of investors need to look at and see, well, if the Dow is reporting higher or S&P is looking good, then that means a lot of stocks are looking good, the market is looking good, and that drives up other stocks. But if you pay attention to anything stock, they're always talking about the Dow first or S&P 500, because that is like, if those are doing well, then everything is going to be doing okay as far as getting into the market, looking at the market. No, Nvidia will not like, because all Nvidia has to do is they got some stuff that's coming up. The more they put out, the more they just talk about putting up shit, the higher the stock gonna go. Like I said, like you think about topping out. Like I really thought that Bitcoin topped out, and it just keeps going, and it'll come down, then it'll go right back up. People be trying to sell when it goes into the 50s and it goes back up. I think it went as high as the 70s this year. So that's going to be a driver for any issues, because the dollar is up and down. So any issues the dollar is having is going to help crypto. And because so many companies is getting more into AI, then it's like Nvidia is going to keep rising, keep doing what it do. Leah, what's the deal? Hello. Let me see. Yeah, I missed a lot of people questions last time, so I want to get into some of these questions before I really get into what I want to talk about. You forgot the M. Devin, what's the deal? Yeah, I know. You meant Merc. Well, I think humanity is going to be fine because it has to be. Everything is about progression with these people, like moving forward the future. But it's about control because as long as they can get shit under their control, they're cool. And again, like it's too deep to get into here, but all this shit is about getting everything under their control. Everything we see now, these people are playing WWE. It's not no America versus Russia. Russia, all these countries are all in on this bullshit. It's just about the people and how they're going to respond to what's happening. Is there a black or African version of the Illuminati? The Illuminati is the Illuminati. It's black, white, all kinds of people in there. So like you have I talked about with the you had the Moors that's Muslim and the NOI, and I talked about the what is they called? The name escapes me right now. Oh, the Boule. Uh, like everybody got different little societies that protect the secret, and it's different names for them, but they all under the same umbrella. Pop Smoke, appreciate it, man. Video about 9/11. I had a video up there on. They took that shit down because I got my hands on the video. A lot of people did this. This one guy that got his hands. He did it first, but I still put in for the Freedom of Information Act to get my hands on some videos. So one guy did it, and he put the videos out. They were on YouTube for a while because I know a lot of you guys are seeing. There's a bunch of 9/11 videos popping up with all these different angles, which is bullshit. But I had put out a video on all of it showing how all of it was bullshit and the planes and all that, and just like it defies physics. And I'm a person that's really deep in physics. I know damn well plane can't bring down no damn buildings. Everybody can see it was controlled demolition. So I did a whole video on 9/11. I put it out, and YouTube took it down. I have a clip of it. A part of it is on my Facebook. Uh, uh, Become Light Beings. You go to facebook.com/Become Light Beings, and that's my Facebook. It's called what is it? African or Original. Let me see. Yeah, see, James, good question. Will AI take over coding? And it's already doing it when you pay attention because now you can just actually type into Chat GPT, give me a div, or can you code this photo for me, and it'll give you the code. Or I need to, you could just really ask it for a code for almost anything, and it'll spit out code and then break it down and explain it. So, I mean, that's a quick way. It saves you from a lot of typing if you know how to word it right and put it into that system to get the code you need. It's quick. It's quicker. And you got to think about the implications of that shit because now if you could just talk and say, I need a code for that, I mean, it's going to save programmers, years. I mean, crazy amounts of time, which is going to make software be built a lot quicker. Uh, you know, Everything's going to be faster because of this AI. I mean, that's what they wanted. But they had all this technology years ago. Everybody think it's new. They've been had it out, and I talked about this in a new stock market video. I mean, in Terminator 2, he's showing you blockchain, but a lot of people ain't put it together. He's showing you blockchain right there. It's not even supposed to have been out, but it's right in the movie, blockchain. Marcus, on my best work so far, I have no idea. I leave that up to everybody who watches, man. I just like really try to put out, the information. A lot of people like Saturn Satan series. A lot of people like the destruction of the black man and woman, the calculated destruction of the black man and woman, which they demonetized, and I took it down for a while. I had to fight to get that video back up. Now I think it's like you can't see it unless you have the link or some shit like that. And it's crazy because it was my first video. It had 1 million views, and they took it down, and I had to put it back up and start from the beginning. I think it's at like 800,000 views now, so I almost got back to 1 million. Yeah, TikTok. I mean, a lot of people tell me I do have a TikTok. I'm barely on it. I be strapped for time, man. Like I be fucking busy. It's just always something. It's not enough time in the day to do anything. That's why, like, as soon as I get ready to do something and something else has to be done, it's like I stay busy. And then if I do a DVD or a new video, I have to edit it, and it takes a day to edit those videos. That's the entire day you got to dedicate. I recorded. I've been recorded. You'll see when you watch the video. I've been recorded stock market. And I'm just now finishing editing the video. Like I'm like literally was finishing up before I had to come on and do the live stream. I pushed it back from 7 to 7:45 to try to finish it up, but you know it's a lot of time it takes to edit the videos. People think editing these videos is quick. I went to film school, so I know how to edit. So it takes a day at least. And if you got shit to do, I mean that's a day when you got nothing to do. When you can actually sit back and dedicate the time to edit these videos. That's a day. It's like we got shit to do. There's nobody gonna get it done in a day. So of course I tried to get it done yesterday. That wasn't possible. My goal was to live stream Wednesday, but it's just was too much. So yeah, my time be crazy. Your friends, the Al Yehuda tablets, man. Again, you gotta. I've been through this already. You gotta look at scholarly. Just look at the real research on that. I mean, those tablets, even if they can even decipher them, or if they even real, they don't predate the Septuagint Greek. None of that stuff is proven 100% to predate the Septuagint. Like it just don't. None of that stuff is. If you know everything that happened around that time and what was going on, you can see, how fake those tablets is. Hold on one second. Steven, I appreciate it, man. Steven Samuels, what's the deal? Yeah, I have my natal chart. I got it done when I was in Mexico. Oh, from Germany. Greetings. One second. So what I'm gonna do is, because you ain't the first person to ask the question about the Al Yehuda tablets, I'll do a video, probably one of my next, because I have to do this video on that I want people to see. What was this? Oh yeah, on the Blackamoors. That's gonna be like my next YouTube video. Besides, I got more rundowns to put up, but a video on the Blackamoors is coming because there's a lot with that shit. A lot of people got questions. I'm gonna do this video on the Blackamoors, then I'll do the video on the Al Yehuda tablets, and I'll show you like what that's about. It's just too much to get into here, but no. Excuse me. I mean, yeah. I mean, the AI is David Hicks. What's the deal? Is it possible AI has been here since the beginning, and it's like, in what form, and you got to think about all that stuff. Like, if we talking about advanced civilization and people that existed before us that built all the crazy stuff that we see, I mean, you would think they would have something like AI already. So it's super possible that, of course, if they were able to build those crazy pyramids and everything like that, that they had some far ahead technology. Like me personally, when I get into like my deepest research, like they're fucking way ahead than we can fathom. Like I think it's almost scary when you start to think about like what I think is possible that they can do and what this place is. You know, but that's a lot deep to get into. But yeah, I think AI has been around for a long time. Just like numbers has always been here. Michael, what's the deal? I appreciate it. Are Black Americans descendants of Africans, Hebrews, Moors, and Indians? Black Americans. So it's, you know, I don't want to get technical terms as far as like Black Americans and everything like that. But what's proven is we was here. We was Black people was already in the Americas. Columbus, as I talked about, noted it in his books, and the Moors themselves talked about Black people coming into the Americas, and we already have proof, solid proof. The book They Came Before Columbus. I put in a couple videos about the scientific proof about Black people being in the Americas long before any of that. Now the whole thing with the Hebrews is like, of course, you got to remember that a lot of people when they was coming out of Africa took that Hebrew information with them. But again, none of that stuff predates the 4th century. It's when the whole Hasmonean indoctrination was going on, and when they was converting those Africans into what we call Judaism and then later Christianity. So that's old. So a lot of people think because it's so old, we're talking like, you know, 2nd century, 1st century, stuff like that. People think that it's true because it happened so long ago. No, it's just the deception is old, and that's the beginning of it. The thing is this, you got to look at it. When Kemet fell, like, we start getting this stuff. Where was any of this Jewish, all kinds of talk, you know, before Kemet fell? We don't hear or see none of this stuff until Kemet fell. And that's what you got to look at. So when you go back and you start looking in Israel, and you start looking in these other countries to try to find some type of Jewish history, we find more Egyptian artifacts than Jewish artifacts. We don't find any Jewish artifacts that predate the Egyptian ones. Or we don't see any, like I said, any bodies. We don't find these people anywhere. Like they just did not exist as far as the biblical Jews. Because that's the question you should be asking. Like, did the biblical Jews exist? We know the people who was walking around and claiming to be Jews existed, but did the biblical Jews exist? Because they would be the ones we want to find. You know, the people who was indoctrinated and called themselves Jews, yeah, that's the start of it. But what about these people that's in the Bible? We can't find none of them. And that's the thing. We can't find no proof or evidence that the biblical Jews, the ones from the Bible, actually existed. Nobody outside of the Bible ever mentioned these people or talked about these people. So, but we are definitely descendants of a lot of different people. So Moors, Black people are the Indians, the natives of America. We was here long before the mixture, because the people we call Native Americans are obviously a mix. Like, to just, you know, Black was first, and there's no way around that. Everybody is a mutation or mixture that having something to do with Black. You had a mutation occur to create white folks, and then they kept mixing in with different races of people. Well, I'll say not races, but different people all over the globe to give us the different, what we call races today. But we're descendants from a lot of people. Let me see, hold on. What are the Emerald Tablets? This is a good question. The Emerald Tablets are real. The Sumerian tablets are real tablets. They actually do exist. They are actually amazing, and another thing we could point to and say, what the fuck? But as I said before, there's only like 5-6 people on the planet that can read what's on those tablets, and they can't read everything. So we don't know what they say, just like we don't know what much of the stuff that's in Sumer says today, because it's only like a handful of people who can decipher the stuff, and they can't decipher all of it. So it's just only bits and pieces that they can pick out and actually decipher, much in the way we did with the hieroglyphs, because certain things over time you see, it adds up to other things, and that's how we was able to figure out some of the Egyptian texts, because they don't know it all. You know, the scholars or what have you that we see walking around today. But the Emerald Tablets is real. We don't know what they say. All the Anunnaki bullshit that comes off of it that people are feeding you is all bullshit. Don't believe none of it. Which DNA testing companies do you recommend? It's one that's called African Ancestry. That's a good one because it's actually based over there. Like I said, if you do Ancestry, make sure you use like 2 or 3 companies. Just pay that money, and it's better that way because at least if you're getting the same answers from all 3, you can it's accurate. I've done it. I did it a long time ago, the DNA thing, and it was pretty cool. David, what's the deal? Chaos. Was Atlantis real? Uh, that's a tough question because Atlantis, this is Atlantis. A lot of people will tell you America is Atlantis. Remember, America was called the New World. Something happened here, and then all of a sudden, because you got to think about it. And I talk about this. I forget what video. I think in the new video. But you got to think about everything. Yeah, you got to think about everything that happened. Columbus comes into America in the 1400s, right? 15th century. So you got to think, how fucking long was we on this planet? We know we can trace, black people, Africans back, over a couple 100,000 years on this planet, right? So, I mean, think about it. Like, that's a long fucking time. And then only the 15th century wasn't that long ago, but they're just getting into America during that time. So, like, one, you got to look at where the hell was these white folks? One, that's how we know that they're new. And then 2, how the hell did it take them so long to get over there and discover America when there was already so many people going over there? We know the Egyptians was going over there. Remember we know they was going to America. They found, cocaine and some type of flower that it's only grown in South America inside the stomach of Ramses III. And we know that the pyramids is over there. They found Egyptian artifacts and stuff over in America. I went to the Grand Canyon to show you guys that. So we know they was going over there. It's just weird that it took the Europeans so long to go over there, and it's crazy. J.O. Kane. I know they used to call me 50 Cent a whole lot back in the day. I used to wear the do-rag and everything when I was younger. Yeah, I have a video on Hermes Trismegistus and alchemy and all that. I think it's one of the mystery school videos. Okay, so yeah, let me for Never Pay Again members. So the site should be done tonight or tomorrow. There's just a lot we doing on it. So you guys will be able to get that link for the new stock market video. So don't worry about it. You guys will be able to get it and watch it. What I'm trying to do, and I gotta wait for an email. I probably got it already. I'm trying to just put that video onto one of the Never Pay Again links that you guys already got, so you can just go back in that link and download it from there. So if that's possible, I have a video coming out tonight. I'll let you guys know, and you should be able to download it tonight, like everybody else. So real quick, again, people asking about it. Stock Market Final is available. The link is in the description. Well, it's not available yet. It'll be available after this live stream, but the link is in the description. When you get it, it comes with the other 4 stock market videos. It's only $39.99 for this live stream only. It's going to go back. I usually sell it for $89.99. It's going to probably be like less than that, but I'll put it up there for $39.99. You get all the stock market videos. The link is in the description. So what's going to happen is when I finish this live stream, probably like 2 hours later, when you go back to that link, the video will be there. You'll see the other 4 videos, and then you'll see Stock Market Final will be there in that download section. It's like an hour. It's a good video. Make sure you guys grab that. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. You'll have access to it. Who is that? Michael. Yeah, you'll have access to it tonight. You'll be able to watch it. If you have the Never Pay Again link, it'll be on that link. But if not, you should be able to watch it on the site. I'll put it in that section that I talked about before. Black Berbers. That's a fucking good question. Who is that? 164. So you got to think about it. And I talked about this in the Moors video, but that's a good question because a lot of people don't realize what happened. So the Berbers, which you might as well say Muslims, just say Muslims, because they replaced the real Moors that was out there. So we know about the black Moors. As a matter of fact, it's somebody just put out a whole, oh, what's the deal? April, what's the deal? Appreciate it. April 1, what's the deal? Been holding me down for a minute. So shout out to April. Shout out to Sir Francis. What's the deal? I appreciate it. Shout out to Ace Cloud. Been holding me down for a long time for a lot of stuff I've been putting out. I have some real good supporters that have been looking out. So I appreciate you guys and all the support you've been giving me over the years. It's just some people who've been with me since like day one. I appreciate you guys. But yeah, it's a lot that's in this new stock market video. I know a lot of people are asking questions about stock market. Oh, hold on one second. This is a good question. Hold on one second. A lot of you guys got a lot of good questions. One second. I want to go back here. Oh yeah, the black Berbers. So yeah, so with the black Berbers, like I want to say Muslims, you got to remember they basically switched them out for the Moors that was there. So remember, all of a sudden when you go look at Moor, which Moor means black, they were black. They just hid the history. Then all of a sudden now, if you go to Google Moors right now, what's going to pop up is going to be some Muslim dude. It's going to be an Arab dude that's going to be showing as the Moors. They don't want to let on that the Moors were black. They want to make it like those guys was the Moors because they are who they use to go out and wipe the Moors out. Talked about this in the Moors DVD. So think about it. If you Google Moor, right, and then you have this Arabian dude pop up, but you Google Blackamoor and you see the black Moors pop up, what the fuck is that? What is that? And see how they try to separate the two? It's them trying to hide what actually happened and what took place as them basically killing off the real Moors. So it's a lot with that. I don't know. It's so fucking hot in here. I gotta turn the air on. Let me see. God, man. Okay, so yeah, pros and cons are earning a degree in Europe or Sweden. Let me see, besides the obvious language barrier, would you recommend computer science or computer engineering? Yeah, it don't matter where you at. If you throw computer science or computer engineering anywhere in the world, that's what's popping right now. Uh, Software engineering, I would highly recommend, or anything with computers, but the software engineering is important because now everything is going to be integrating with this AI and they teaching that shit now. Can you imagine being in the beginning of, what's going to be the biggest boom in fucking world history right now? Everybody who's in AI now in this space, I mean, I give them 2 years, they're going to be multimillionaires. Remember the .com, that made millionaires and billionaires like super quick. That's what's happening with AI. And everybody knows it. Everybody's talking about it. I get those newsletters and I pay attention to stocks heavily, especially companies that's putting money into shit, because that's the inside way. Pay attention to who's funding what, because if they're funding something, especially a company as big as Microsoft putting all that money into OpenAI, that should have told you right there. And they tried to keep it hush, but as soon as people start seeing OpenAI getting all this money from Microsoft, the stock shot up. So I look at stuff like that. If you're getting into any field, like I said, I recommend anything having to do with computers and programming and software technology. Software engineering is just tops right now. Is growing, and that shit you can get learn software engineering online. You don't really got to go to no 4-year university. You can get that knowledge in months, in a year, and have that certificate or what have you to start really working with that. Brandon, I appreciate you, bro. Shout out to you. But yeah, don't shy away from earning a degree abroad. That doesn't mean anything. It's way better schools over there anyway. You can't see how God was speaking to himself in Genesis 3:22. And the Lord said, behold, that man is become as one of us to know good and evil. You know, God is a man in Numbers 23. But again, you got to remember, I said to somebody before, I was just talking about this. When it's talking about one, King James Version written 1604, 1611, you know, during that time and before that time, man was gender neutral. Jeremy, appreciate it. Man was gender neutral. So you gotta remember, whenever you see man or men, he or him, all that shit was gender neutral. It's hard for people to fathom that. But you gotta remember that in the Bible when it says, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. Or let he who has understanding understand. It's not talking about just men. It's talking about everybody. So that's how you get around that. You know, it's talking about it's talking about men, women. It's dual natured. So that's how it was. So when that was written, and you think it's speaking towards men only or pertaining to a man, it's talking about, you know, both male and female. In the image of God created he him, male and female created he them, and he blessed them and told them to go be fruitful and multiply. So it said, let us make man in our image. It's esoteric, you know, it's not literal to take it as if God is speaking to, you know, himself or somebody else or what have you. It's just what he is, masculine and feminine, which we all are. So it's saying in the image of God created he him. So that whole line right there is giving you masculine and feminine, because created he him, that's masculine and feminine, he and him, understand, gender neutral. So yeah, I talked about America before Columbus, and I think it's one of my ancient history videos, but I get into it a little bit in the stock market one, because like I talk about the whole New World Order thing real quick in the video, because you got to look at this. As I said before, it already occurred in Europe, and it kind of sort of happened in America as well. Because of what you guys don't understand is a lot of people know about the 13 colonies. A lot of people understand that. A lot of people know about the 13 colonies in the southern states in America. But what a lot of people don't realize is Germany, Russia, Sweden, a lot of countries occupied states in America. We bought Alaska from Russia for $7.2 million. So, like, well, we got the Louisiana Purchase, that's from France. So, when I was saying before about how, you know, everybody's like, hey, they wanted to abolish slavery, but they couldn't do it. They didn't do it. They didn't have control of the entire country then. It was just the 13 colonies. And then through Manifest Destiny and everything that was going on there, remember, Manifest Destiny was their whole decree to go westward and conquer those lands. But that was them either buying the states, what we call states, they would call them countries in Europe, but that was them buying the states from other countries or going to war and taking them by force. So that's the history that's not talked about. When they came over, one, they was going out and wiping out and enslaving the black people that's already here, which they swept that under the rug. But then the countries that took over, I mean, if you pay attention now, those same countries, and I talk about this in the new stock market video, those same countries are in Africa today running those lands over there. So yeah, so it's a lot on Africa. I mean, on America, excuse me. God was definitely speaking to somebody else, or else he would just be thinking. I mean, you can't look at it in a literal sense. It's just all that is esoteric, you know. It's all esoteric, because in that Genesis, you know, it says, let there be light. And all the other passages in Genesis is nothing else to point to him speaking to somebody else. You understand? It's just like that part right there is getting into some esoteric shit when it's saying, let us make man in our image. And it's giving you the hint that it's talking about masculine and feminine energy, which is what we all have, yin and yang. Let us create man in our image. Because it says after that, in the image of God created he him. It's giving you all that esoteric shit right there. So it's not talking to nobody else, trust me. About the Americas. I really get into the Americas in a lot of videos. Like, it's a lot that happened over here, and you know, a lot of stuff is in books, and you got to really go off of what they're saying. But it's not too much that we can really go back and you know, say is 100% concrete. A lot of it's speculation of what was going on here. And like I said, I talked about it. It's a lot of America that we don't live in. So we got to think about what's going on with that. Like, why is we bunched up in these little spaces and cities when, excuse me, a lot of America is unoccupied. There's a lot of space. Let me see. How the human body has been created. It's a lot of good questions, man. This is why I was wanting to do live stream again because you guys asked good questions. Let me see. Trust me, they don't want us to look at Africa. That's where all the information is. They want you to stick to uh, America and Dr. King and all that shit. Let me see. Let me see. David Hicks Badger, what's the deal? Is melanin really the key? Melanin is a huge key. When you really pay attention to it. Deeper. Desperate to find. Yeah, but that's a lot deep to get into. I mean, like this, to be honest, this is the afterlife. It'd be hard to accept that, but it is. Like we think this is life. It's not even living. This is the lowest form of existence. It's material. Like our energetic selves is way past this shit. That's how you know. Like, why would anybody that's a super powerful being that's able to create these bodies and everything that you see and what's possible in the dream world, why would you come here? Why would you want to be here? There is a reason for this being here. So that's why a lot of people say it's a prison planet because they can't fathom anybody with that kind of power and capability wanting to come here for this shit, for this material stuff. It's bullshit. But it's more to it than that. It's growth, it's learning, it's training. When you go through training and you exercise and you working it out, you beating yourself up. And anybody who don't understand that will look at it and be like, damn, why he lifting those weights for so long? I know that hurts. And your body hurts and you're sore after you work out. But look at the results you get. Look at the health issues with it. Well, not issues, I should say. The benefits of the health benefits you get with working out. So it's a lot of benefits you get from pain and suffering, and that's one of them. This being here and dealing with this and growing and expanding in consciousness and energy. But yeah, this is kind of sort of the afterlife when you understand the dream world would be almost like the real world, but controlled by your subconsciousness to not reveal the truth and secrets to you. To be honest, it's a lot deeper shit than that. That's the goal. What's the deal? How the human body has been created? Yeah, that's a good question because the most complex thing that we see on this planet, besides what's 5,000 meters below the ocean, this crazy complexity down there that they've been finding out, is us. The human body is super complex, especially the brain. The brain is the one that you look at and you think, how the fuck did they do this? Because our brains are so complex to where it's what shows you there's no way in the world we evolved into this body and brain. This is something that was created. How it was created, I do not know. Well, we know how. It's genetics and DNA and all that type of stuff. We made up of a bunch of animal genes. When they did the human genome sequencing, they found out that we have platypuses and possums and cats and dogs and a whole bunch of stuff in our genes. Primates makes up a large part of our genes. And we know that. So basically they took the animals, which was first, and that's shown in the Bible as well. They're giving you that hint as the animals was created first. But they took those parts from that, primate being one of the largest parts they took, and then they incorporated some of their own DNA, which would be that missing link. That's what it looks like. and they created us. The difference between us and everything else that's on this planet is our consciousness. Our consciousness shows you that the way we think and the way we move in our consciousness compared to animals shows you that we are different. I talked about this before, like, how a mosquito or insects fly right into your windshield. Like, they see all those dead bugs, but yet they still fly into it. While buffalo and deer and all these other animals go to areas where they know they're going to get hunted down and eaten. It's just like the consciousness is different. It's why we are over the animal world, because of consciousness. Even though you can't beat a tiger one-on-one, barehanded, you're going to die. But you have the intelligence to outsmart them and beat them and kill them and what have you, because you have a consciousness that's just way past them. So consciousness is the real power, and that's what we have, and that takes us out of this bodily part of existence and creation, and show us that we're much more than just physical, as I was talking to before. Why are so many people selling their soul? You can't sell your soul. It's impossible. Do you think that the New World Order have a contact to the Bible? Everyday King, what's the deal? The New World Order wrote the Bible. Like, the Bible is a man-made book. They put their agenda and everything they wanted to do in that book. They put history in that book. It's just a distorted history, but it's history nonetheless. But you got to look at it and just see how it stacks up and compares to actual history, and it doesn't. And that's how you got to look at it for what it is. It's a book that has hidden meanings and parables or what have you that they go by, and they read it differently than us. And that's how they communicate, to be honest. Let me see. Yeah, the three, what is it? The Three Body Problem series. That thing is crazy on Netflix. I have watched it. Yeah, Gramatria is in everything. To be honest, like, it's deep, and it's a lot to get into with that, which I'll get into it eventually. Spiritual world. Yeah, I talked about that. What was that? Ryan D'Angelo about the Dogon, and they didn't put out the whole interview with the Dogon, which you got to think about why they didn't do that. So remember, that team was going out there, and it was basically doing some research on the Sahara being an ocean or water at some point, having water there, because they was traveling through the Sahara and they found whales, entire whale skeletons, and all kinds of fish skeletons in the Sahara. And just out of fucking nowhere, during this interview, the fucking Dogon guy just walks up, and this is a long time ago. And then he's telling them about Sirius, and he's telling them about all kinds of shit they should not know about. So they did an interview later on with the Dogon, which they did, as I said, put out the whole interview. But it's crazy that Dogon knew so much about the star system and Sirius B. And as I said, when I paid $1,000 to go into the Temple of Osiris, it's talking about Sirius there as well. And they actually drew it, whoever did it. It's in the Temple of Osiris in Egypt. So it's a lot with that. And I believe it's, who knows what it is exactly, but it's a place, according to what I'm reading from Dogon and the ancient Egyptians. Rashid, how many planets have we visited? We don't know. We visited any of them. We know possibly those Voyager, Saturn V, Saturn V, or what have you. There's a lot of those little spaceships that they, shuttles or what have you, that they launched and supposedly went out there. We don't fucking know. So we don't know. You can't say for sure. Anything having to do outside of this planet, we don't know for sure. We only can go by what they say NASA's a liar. You know, NASA, never a straight answer. So we don't really know. Like I go by, I read what they say and what they post, but I always look at it and be skeptical about it, and think to myself that we don't know if this shit is for sure. The stuff that adds up. But you got to remember, like I put it in one of my videos. I think in the flat Earth video that's on YouTube about how they faked a lot of those images with the moon and being out in space, and we know that. So then you got to look at the fact that we never really got any real proof about them going, to the moon, and then NASA telling us themselves that we can't get through the Van Allen radiation belt. And even on their website, I'll put this in the video. So they did a whole video about how we can't get through the Van Allen radiation belts. And it's like, okay, well, how did they do it back in the 60s? How did they get through it? So yeah, who knows what's going on with that shit. I know they dumped a whole lot of money into that. And you would like to think that they wouldn't spend billions of dollars on the shuttle to just launch up in the air and go nowhere. So yeah, who knows? We just don't really know. Sweden's a good place. Switzerland too, if you got the money. Silk, peace and love. I talked about Terrence Howard. Like Terrence Howard is a fraud. Don't even buy into that bullshit. Terrence Howard is a Mason. He done put up so much. Like after a while, if you study Freemasonry as long as I have, you can see the symbols and the signs and the mannerism and the stuff that they say. He dude's a Mason. He's obviously embarking on his 33rd degree. Same thing with stitching and all this shit. Like, think about it. If he was, the stuff he's saying, if it was true, you think they would put him on the platforms he on? He wouldn't be on those platforms, and the people who got those platforms wouldn't touch him. They would have killed him a long time ago. I would have thought he was real if they would have killed him by now. Then I would have been trying to look into everything that he said, because they would have just knocked him off. Like, dude is a Mason. Dude is doing his job. He's doing his work. Don't fall for that stuff. 1 + 1 = 2. Like, don't fall for that bullshit. Yeah, it's a lot of tech they can't recreate. The sovereign movement. The sovereign movement is, that's. I talk to these dudes all the time. I talk to militia groups, to sovereign groups. I get messages. There might be some of you guys here. Be here. What's up? But I talk to sovereign groups all the time and militia groups all the time that follow my, a lot of information I put out as far as what's going to happen here, Civil War wise. Those dudes is armed up and they ready. So those are the people who, I would say, don't be like them, because they can't. I'm just being real. You're not going to win. It's just not worth going out trying to fight these people, because their weapon capability is way surpassed. Even if you got the numbers, it's just too much. You got to have some type of intel, and you got to do what they did. You got to rise through the ranks and then strategically put yourself in different positions within government to affect government. But the sovereign movement is a movement that's been debunked and put down. You can basically defect, you might as well say, and go elsewhere. But there's no sense in being a sovereign citizen in America and then having to rely on the country. If you got millions and millions of dollars, enough to last you for the rest of your life, what have you, and you want to go be sovereign, then go do that. But you got to remember, you can't invest in anything. You can't really buy anything. You have to put it in other people's name and all that, because you don't have a social security number no more. So you can't be involved and participate in the benefits and privileges that Americans get by being under that whole thing. So UCC3 and all that stuff, and separating yourself and status change and all that shit, is, when you pay attention to what that culminates to, the end of the rainbow for that is you being separate from the government, Which supposedly they say they still have to give you equal protection under the law, but it's you not being able to participate in anything, governmental at all. So if you're going to do that, you can't get no job because you got to sign a W-4 and you got to be a citizen to sign a W-4. So if you got the money already, then it's worth it because then you can just go off and spend your money. But you're going to have to rely on other people to make investments or what have you with your money. And it's like, can you trust those people? So it's something to think about. David Icke is cool, but yeah, this dude's a fraud, Marcus. I mean, again, think about it. This dude, like, come on, he sold out Wembley Stadium. Like, you can't sell out, you can't book Wembley unless you're one of them. There's no fucking way. Hey, yeah, I want to book Wembley so I can go on stage and talk shit about the Queen and call her a reptilian or what have you. All that is disinformation. There's no fucking way you can book Wembley. They would allow you to do it knowing the type of shit you talk about. I guarantee you, if I went to go try to book Wembley right now, they wouldn't allow me to do it. So it's stuff like that I've been talking about. You got to look at the platforms these people be on. Like, people keep asking me about what's his face. But you got to pay attention to the platforms. You can't go on Joe Rogan. Like, come on. Joe Rogan, like, these people are in and out. Like, they're giving you a little bit of truth mixed with a bunch of bullshit, to push you away from the truth. Like, you can't get on these platforms and do these platforms if you're speaking truth and putting out real information. So that right there alone, I tell you, the platforms these people is on will show you that they're on some bullshit. You're gonna be just like me if you putting out the truth. I'm in my bathroom. My bathroom is huge, but I'm in my bathroom doing a fucking live stream. So a lot of people, yeah, I get a lot of invites from people like this. Like I said, they try to get you with that money. That shit is, stay away from that shit. Like, don't put yourself in a position where you gotta take their fucking money, and then now they own you, and then now you gotta keep chasing the money now. You gotta keep chasing those checks, and nah, don't do that. Like, hopefully you rely on the people, and the people support you and believe in what you're doing, like you guys, and that'll help you out. But like, I'm not taking these fucking people money and doing that bullshit. Dodger Rock. I'm from Philly. That's why the Phillies. Born and raised Philly. Y'all look good this year, though, the Dodgers. Yes. Was that Yogi? Yeah. Gatekeepers. Joe Rogan. They were like, for sure. Dodgers used to be better until we got Trey Turner from y'all. Again, a lot of people, when the Cat Williams thing came out, oh man, some of the people hit me up and sending me the video and everything like that, man. Like, y'all can't get, like, there is levels to that shit. And it's like I said, there's unspoken rules. And you can walk that line. And Cat Williams is one of the people that walked that line. So is 50 Cent, who walked that line. But those guys are in, man. You don't get to do certain things. Why would they allow you to live? Why would they allow you to do certain stuff? It's easy to just say you died from a drug overdose. You gotta walk those lines, and they basically playing the game and doing what they gotta do. So while the stuff he's saying, a lot of it is true, it's part of the game. Kevin Hart and all these people, they don't give a shit what people think about them. They hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank. They got security teams, and they go to white parties and all kinds of shit. They don't really care what regular people on YouTube, because that's the only people that's gonna be talking shit. And then when half of the people who talk shit on YouTube, if they actually saw them, they're gonna try and get a picture. So, excuse me. They don't care about that shit. A lot of these guys are in and they playing their part and they doing what they got to do to stay in pocket or what have you. So like, it's easy to see through a lot of that bullshit, from these celebrities. But I like Cat Williams. He's funny as shit. Gas prices actually went down over here. Let me see how long that lasts. Jace, what's the deal? Dr. Feels Good, what's the deal? Oh, Credo Mutual, yeah, they paid that dude, L. Omac. They paid him to say all that bullshit. I don't believe that. I mean, you just think about it. A white man came over and you just all of a sudden got all these stories on multiple times. Don't believe that bullshit. Yeah, a lot of those guys talks in parables, but you got to think about the reason why. What's the situation, or what are they putting out? So a lot of people frowned at Manly Palmer Hall, who was a well-known Freemason, and he put out so fucking much before he died, because he didn't give a shit. He's getting ready to die, so he didn't care. Even when he was a little bit younger, he was still putting out stuff esoterically. But as Manly got older, he didn't care, man. He was giving out so much esoteric information on his way out. He didn't really break nothing crazy, but he talked about he gave a lot of good, deep nuggets. And one of the person who I follow extensively, Manly P. Hall, of course, Madam Blavatsky, he cites her a lot. And these people put out a lot of information because that's what they're supposed to do. You got to put that stuff out. It's meant to be put out, but it has to be put out in a certain way. You can't say directly. But he gave out a lot of good information, Manly P. Hall. Umar is cool. I like Dr. Umar. I don't agree with everything he says, as I said before, but yeah, he on point. Yeah, Billy Carson, like the guy's a fraud, man. As easy as they. Somebody put out a video on him and what's his name? I forget the guy's name, but somebody put out a video on Billy Carson and Terrence Howard about how much of a fraud they are. What happens when you take psychedelics? It depends on where you at. um, Psychedelics is meant to be taken during meditation. It's just they don't take them recreational. That shit will have you running around butt naked and fighting dinosaurs and shit. So I recommend you read up on that before you even touch a psychedelic. But it puts you in an altered state of consciousness and lets you go deeper within your subconscious, where you are not strong enough to have no control over that at this point. So unless you've been meditating for like at least a decade, regularly, I wouldn't recommend taking them, because you're just going to, you're going to turn loopy. You're going to be feeling those psychedelics, and it's not going to really give you no benefit as far as what it's meant to do, give you the benefit in meditation. But taking them as recreational, that's just dumb. Unless you want to run around and act all crazy, but yeah. Yeah, I know about this archaeological site, which I'm going to talk about in this upcoming video on this whole thing with these tablets. Because yeah, we're going to get into that. And it's another what was that artifact they found recently? Something else that they found that they want to say is old, but again, like it's the fine print. You got to read on a lot of this information when they put out. You'll see a lot of those researchers at the bottom of a lot of those articles. It'll be what is it called? Criticisms, right? So you'll see the criticism section, and then that's where you find the truth. The criticism section will be a lot of researchers that's saying this ain't real. They don't have 100% proof. Then you got to think about who controls carbon dating. You can't just walk up the street and say, "Hey, can you carbon date this for me?" It's like it's the same people that's behind the agenda that's controlling the carbon dating information. So you got to look at them people and say, "Oh, of course they're going to say it's this age because they are part of the bullshit." And it doesn't matter anyway. Even if they say something that's older than Septuagint, that proves absolutely nothing. It doesn't prove that Moses parted the Red Sea and all that other bullshit it's talking about. It doesn't prove anything. So, but we know, I can tell you for sure, it doesn't predate the Septuagint. That's just a fact, because we know that's when all the bullshit was going down. You have for a long time, because think about it. You have for a long time with I talked about with Serapis and everything like that. We can prove for a fact the Greeks was pushing Serapis on the Africans in Northern Africa. We can prove that. So why then with the Greeks, after all this stuff is going on with this Jewish stuff, remember supposedly you get Ptolemy II, Philadelphia is giving us the Septuagint, all that, enslaving the Jews supposedly. Why would they go through all that just to become Jews themselves and Christians themselves? It don't make sense. So obviously, if Hellenization is what they say it is, them spreading this, Hellenistic doctrine of the Greeks, why did they become Christians and Jews? It don't make sense. That would be going against your ancestors, right? Why aren't you following what your ancestors followed? I mean, think about that. It's the same thing I said to a supposed Egyptian. You guys didn't follow the spirituality of the ancient Egyptians. You're Muslim, or they speak Coptic and they follow the Syriac Peshitta, which is still, a form of Christianity. So you got to look at stuff like that and say, why don't you follow what supposedly your people you come from follow or what have you? So you go over there to Greece, they're not following what the ancient Greece followed, they're following Christianity. Same thing we can say about the Romans and what happened with paganism and everything like that. They're not following what their ancestors followed, which shows you that it was an indoctrination that happened, and that's why these people follow these certain things. Accolade, I appreciate it. All right, Pablo, shoot me an email so I can make sure you get that link for frequency and vibration. I'll look it up and see, but make sure you shoot me an email on therealmerkabah@gmail.com. It'll pop up on my phone, and I'll make sure I'll get you that link. Hell no. I mean, I consider moving to Africa years ago, and I was about to do it. And it's just the corruption is fucking crazy. And I was told by some friends over there to not come there because of what was going on where I was going to be moving to. I got friends in Sierra Leone, I got friends in Benin and Joburg and all over Africa. But it was something I was thinking about doing, but I was like, they sell out too easy over there, man. It's just not super, super safe in certain places. And going there to visit was cool and everything, but this is a place I didn't find anywhere where I felt like I wanted to stay permanently. But I would definitely love at some point to have like a permanent like vacation home over there, a permanent home over there for a while. But definitely wouldn't want to stay, especially for the type of shit I talk about. Yeah, a lot of people ask about mentorships and stuff like that, and it's definitely something I want to get into more. I want to have like a whole group. I started that with Merkabah Academy with the new site. I want to have like a whole group of people that's like separate from Never Pay Agains to mentor and to like do live streaming with, just like a small group. Especially a lot of people who've been following me since the beginning. So I want to have like a nice small group to get into certain things with. I'll eventually do that mentorship. It's definitely something I want to do when I got more time. There's a lot going on right now, but definitely going to do that for sure. Now, I appreciate it. I don't want to say your name wrong. Cha, Kanga, Silla. I don't know what I want to please all. I want to pronounce all that. All right, let's see. You guys got some good questions. A lot of questions. Okay, here we go. Let me see. Yeah, I'll do lives from the app for sure. Once I get that straightened out. Ghana is awesome. Who wrote the Quran? Same people that wrote the Bible. No. It's not a coincidence that you get the Greeks giving us, where we can prove the Septuagint in Greek, and then the New Testament written in Greek, which they translated into Latin later. We get the codices and everything like that. And as I talk about with the war between the Arabs and the Persians, and then you had the major war against the Arabs and Rome, which ended in the status quo antebellum in the 7th century. And then after that status quo antebellum, which is basically a truce, that means we're both going to leave this battle that we fought for hundreds of years and a bunch of people died. We're just going to walk away now all of a sudden. And then just so happened right after that, we get Islam. We get the Quran or what have you. So you got to look at that and the fact that, one, think about this. First of all, most of the Arabs and everything were Jews and Christians, right? And then all of a sudden we get Islam and they jump on Islam. Islam is new. But a lot of people want to say, well, they always was, studying Islam from the worship of all these moon goddess and everything like that. But they don't really want to say it because then it's going to be like, well, they just took this moon worship and made a religion out of it. But the fact that we have the Mohammedan, forget that part of it. The fact that we have the Abrahamic prophets in this Quran should tell you something. That should be the biggest red flag right there. Now, think about it. If you were just in a war, hundreds of years, fighting against Rome, right? And you know that this is the primary prophets of their doctrine in Christianity, why would you fuck with that? Knowing that we just had a status quo antebellum, we just had a truce, we both walked away from it, then all of a sudden I'm going to come up with this doctrine that supposedly has your prophets in it. Then I'm going to change the role of your prophets in my book and say that Jesus was a prophet, he wasn't the son of God. I'm going to say that this dude is really the main God and forget Moses. And I'm going to look at all this other stuff that you hold dear and I'm going to kind of mix it up. And we just had a truce. So it don't make sense. So Rome gave us that book. The Greeks gave us that book. And they use it to control the Arab world and unite them under that, because they can't unite them under Christianity and Judaism and have them doing the dirty work that they've been using them for, because then it'll go back to Rome. So that was why that religion had to be created for the people, the Arabic speaking people, which you got to remember, we get Arabic from, what's his name, Abdul Malik, who came and forced it on the people, because all that stuff goes back to the Syriac Peshitta, the terms and terminology of Islam. All this is in my Islam video. It's on YouTube. All those terms and terminologies in Islam, the AL before everything, when you take that AL away and look at a lot of those words, all of it, you can trace it back to the Syriac Orthodox Church and Christianity. That's where they got it from. So again, you look at the nuns from the Syriac Orthodox Church that existed long before Islam. They wore the garbs that the Muslims wear today, long before the Muslims wore it. And Qurayo is what they recite, the reciters, which is Quran means to recite. All that goes back to Christianity when you really pay attention. It's where they got it from. So they gave us the Quran, and it's an amazing book, but there is no proof of no Muhammad. There's no proof. And then the fact that it's written in Arabic when nobody during the time the Quran came out was speaking Arabic. Nobody was speaking the language. So how was it revealed in Arabic and then translated and written down in Arabic when nobody spoke that shit during that time? Nobody was speaking it. Can't find a book, a painting, a poem, or anything in Arabic before the life of Muhammad. So something to think about. Yeah, the Igbo claiming that they were Jews, that's fine. Yep. They do have an old Bible. You got the Ethiopian Bible, they got old Bibles, but none of those Bibles predate the Septuagint Greek given to us by the white Greeks. But the fact that it is old, a lot of people jump on it because they say, hey, this is an African tribe in Africa claiming to be Jews, because, yeah, they was the Jews that was indoctrinated when they was first putting this stuff out. So, again, you got to pay attention to what was going on around that time as far as what the Hasmoneans was doing. They was going out and they was converting, because that's what happened. They wouldn't accept the doctrine that they was putting out, and they know the best way to attack us had to be in our spirituality. So, that's where Judaism and all that shit ended up coming from. My bad, y'all. I know it's a lot of questions. I'm from Philly, Franklin. Philly all day. Um, yeah, I mean, like celebrities selling them. So that's always a big question. Like, you can't sell your soul. You got to think about it in terms of your energy. You know, which would be your life work. You know, that's the whole metaphor of selling your soul. Because just like Michael Jackson is dead and gone right now, I can go right on the strip and watch Michael Jackson perform. So he sold his soul, basically meaning they can for all times use his likeness and everything and go out there and make money off of the energy he put on his planet before he left, which we can call the soul. So they own that forever and they can always put stuff out. You know, that's basically what that means. You can't sell your actual soul. You understand? It's just you can't do that. It's like, you know, it's deep. So the celebrities, what they're doing is being a part of what's happening, what's going on, the whole, you know, all the people that's involved in this whole, you know, agenda that they have against us or on us. So that's what that shit is about. So celebrities get into this game and they're doing what they're doing. They're agreeing to basically deceive the people. That's all that is. You're agreeing to keep deceiving the people, always at all times promote either Satan or Jesus or both, whatever you want to do. That's like, it's just rules. Like I said, it's unspoken rules. And when you go outside those rules or you do certain shit, that's when you get clipped. Some people, it's too much to get into with that. But if you knew that none of this stuff really matters, everything that we hold dear and think that this is everything, this physical stuff, if you knew or had the understanding that it don't really mean shit for real, in the scheme of true existence, then the stuff that you do, it's not gonna bother you that much. So in the Islam video on YouTube, I talk about Abdul Malik in that video and get into what he did. The laws he put in place and making the children go to certain schools, and they went into Syria and converted all those people. It's a lot that happened to bring in Islam into play that a lot of Muslims don't know about. Yeah, I appreciate that. Let me see. A presidential election. I got no thoughts on it. It's gonna be the same as every 4 years. It's some bullshit. Um, but it's weird that what I'm looking at the most with this thing is the immigration part of it, because that's the question mark for me, because Biden is basically doing what they would want them to do as far as the immigrants coming in, and Trump basically ran on before when he first became president, you know, this immigration and building a wall and everything like that. Excuse me. So it would be interesting now to see Trump come in. Is he going to keep that whole mindset going with, you know, keeping the immigrants out? And, you know, if Biden wins again, which, you know, I just don't see that happening. That'd be fucking crazy if he wins again. That'll be a shocker. But if Biden wins again, he's going to have all these immigrants coming in and they're taking jobs and everything like that. I think they estimated now it's like over 10 million jobs lost to immigrants. That could be inflated or completely wrong, but that's what they're reporting on to make this whole thing big. So I think the presidential election, you know, it's the same as any other one. They already know who's going to win. They already picked them before we even vote. Voting is bullshit. Like, it's like a lot of people ask about voting, and you got to think about it. You can't actually rely on voting, because an electoral, you know, election or electoral ballot is electric. It can be changed. How can we ever trust that shit? You understand? Remember in elementary school, well, you was as old as me. Remember, we had to write it down. We had an election in school. We wrote it on a piece of paper, everybody was counted for. You had a paper to mark the actual vote, and you can see for sure, like, what was done. So they still do paper ballots, and they do paper ballots for that reason, for people who think, well, my vote could be changed inside this little ballot box the electoral way. They could change my vote, but on the paper, they can't. But then you got to think about, are you going to be there to watch them count every ballot, and is your ballot going to be counted? So when you think about elections, period, like, you have to really trust the process, and it's hard to fucking do that when we know how crooked this government is. Like, they could just say whoever won. They could say whoever won, and we're not going to never know. The shit is counted, by who? We don't even know these people's name. So the only way to do a real election is to do an actual fucking paper election and count that shit live on TV. And that's the only way we can actually really believe an election actually worked. Because unless that happens where we can actually see it being done, we're never really going to know for sure. They can just say any fucking body won because, it's controlled electronically. Let me see. Yeah, the link is in the description for membership. In the description of this video. Yeah, I would go live earlier during the day, but a lot of people at work, and then I'll be busy myself. Like, one of the reasons why I haven't done live before, because I've been like super busy. I'm like really always busy, but I try to find time to do it. I try to give myself at least a couple hours to do a live, or to have some free time. Normally I'll probably be sleeping or meditating around this time, but excuse me. But I wanted to give myself some time to do it, because questions can go long, and talking can go long, and you lose track of time when you're doing something like this. But eventually, I'll do some more during the day. I'll put out way more ahead of time for the next live stream. The next time I do it, I don't know when it's going to be, but I'll put out at least a couple weeks ahead of time to get more people, because a lot of people was going to say the same thing last time, that they didn't get the alert or they missed it or what have you. And you got to remember, I'm shadow banned. So they're not even putting this shit out to everybody who, you got to think about it. It's 100,000 people who subscribe. I get at least 500 messages every other day. So I already know at least 500 people should be on here watching. That's weird to only have 244 people watching when I post a video and it's getting 2,000 views, in the first day, what have you. So it's weird for the numbers to be so low, but that's what shadow banning is. And I already had that shit confirmed, because they're not even going to address what I addressed, as far as all these other sites that have way more controversial topics than mine. Why those guys have checks, they're verified, one, and they completely monetized, and they talk about way crazier shit than me. That's because they're putting out bullshit. I wouldn't trust any verified YouTube channel, excuse me, that's putting out any information. Not a gaming channel or anything like that. That's different. But anybody that's supposedly a truther and putting out knowledge and they verified on YouTube, I wouldn't trust that shit. You got to go through a lot to get verified on there. No, so that's a good question. How did they create the whole Septuagint book from fragments? It wasn't fragments back then, so I get into this a lot. But the Septuagint, we talking about not today, because we only have like what, 2 shards, 1 or 2 shards today of the original. Not even the original, the copy of one of the original Septuagints. Because Septuagint, just like the Bible, we don't have the original one. We got copies. So again, shit to think about. But how that worked out with the Septuagint is Ptolemy II Philadelphus commissioned 72 Hebrew elders to do this translation of the Hebrew law into Greek. And it was supposed to be a verbal translation. There's no proof that they came with any type of documentation or books to do this translation. There's no proof of the actual translation being done. And as I always say, any Jew will tell you that they would have died before they did such a translation. So, poof, out of nowhere, we get the Septuagint Greek. You know, I run this whole thing down a lot of times, but that's basically how it happened. I'm so used to saying it to so many people, I'd say it the same way almost every time. But that's basically how we got it. So we have basically a story, which is LXX, the letters of Orestes, saying that this is how the Septuagint came into place. So you got to think about that as a Christian. Preachers don't even know what the fuck the Septuagint is. They never heard of it. Most of them. Ones I talked to never fucking heard of it. And you got to think about it. So if we're basing the inception of the Bible from this book that we have absolutely no proof to back up. It just goes with that. So remember, this is before the Council of Nicaea. This is before the New Testament. This is the inception. So you get the New Testament to where they're trying to say, okay, this is the whole New Testament. But again, you got to think about that. Why would they even come up with some shit like that? Wrong. Think about it. Talked about with Constantine, and you know, they had Roman Caesars and they proclaimed themselves gods and everything like that. They had their own mythology. Well, all of a sudden they would jump on and piggyback on, you know, biblical religion. And it just so happened they did that after they conquered the Greeks, who put this thing out in the beginning. They jump on it and piggyback, give us the New Testament, and become religious themselves. It don't make sense. It's just telling you it's something more to that book, but it's definitely not like what they were saying, what they tell us it is. So yeah. Yeah, it just popped up on my phone that you requested for the link, so I'm going to see you that when I finish this live stream. Again, real quick, for anybody who's not a Never Pay Again member, who's in, because you're not into the stock market video, don't worry about it. But you get all the stock market videos if you grab the new one. The link is in the description. It's not going to be, it's only $39.99 right now. It's going to be $89.99 later on. So get it right now. The link is in the description for anybody that do want it. It does come with the other stock market videos. So when I finish this live stream, that'll pop up. And I have another video I'm posting on YouTube later, getting into some of this stuff. So that's going to happen. But yeah, I want to get into those tablets. The Al Yehuda tablets, which I came across this stuff before, but it was just so much information that wasn't like, you're going off of spookism. You're going off of what they say and think. There's no proof to back it up. Because when I first seen them, I wanted to look at all the criticism one and any of the scholars that's reputable that's talking about it. You got to remember, most of the stuff that's put out that's biblical is put out by the church. That's enough said right there. They should tell you everything you need to know. And then you got to think about, again, who's controlling carbon dating, who's the scientists behind a lot of this shit. It's all bullshit. And why is it not mainstream? How does YouTube pay for lives? Yeah, they don't pay for lives. I don't know how that works with YouTube, but live streaming, I know it works different with different accounts, with different levels or what have you. I know when I first tried to do it, it was giving me some issues, and eventually I got through it. It's easy to navigate once you do it the first time, but it's a whole bunch of stuff you gotta do before you actually even get on live. You can't just press a button and go live. It's like stuff you gotta plan for it with everything like that. And then, you know, you can just press the button and then you go live that way. But it's for some reason, for me, it was a little bit complicated when I first started it. Greco-Roman royalty. Yeah, the descendants of that Greco-Roman royalty, those people still alive. And it's just, you know, we don't know their real names. You know, all that, even Titus, Flavius, Josephus, and all those guys I talk about in a lot of videos, like, we don't know. Those were written names. Arius, Piso. Those are a lot of just hidden names. We don't know who these people are, of course, and of course they're not going to tell us. But yeah, those families are still alive. They are still around, and they running shit. 164. Brian. Yeah, I know. Like that was another thing. So Jesus down on the cross, like I said, if they don't change, if they don't put that the Roman soldier stabbing him with the spear and John, then Jesus doesn't die. It's just I mean that's why Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John is so different. It's like they and then you find out later on that they took stuff out and they added things. So that's one of the verses that they added was the Roman soldier stabbing Jesus with the spear. Because if you read that book, he doesn't die. I mean, they giving him frankincense and myrrh and hyssop for what? The guy's supposed to be there to be crucified and die. Why are you giving him stuff that's supposed to heal him? It don't make sense. And but they're giving you that hint. That's just all that is esoteric. It's just all esoteric shit. The fact that one, Jesus bitched up. A lot of people don't even know about that. When I point this out to Christians, they face just fold. It's so funny. But the fact that he bitched up and didn't want to be crucified, remember, he told one of his disciples to basically get, sell your clothes and go get swords because they coming for me. I ain't trying to fucking die. So go sell your clothes, get some swords, and come back and save me. Drop down on his knees and basically, hey, God, can you do what you got to do but not use me? You know what I'm saying? He bitched up. And then, it's just the stories are different. But that's one of the craziest parts about reading it, that happened, one. And then two, you got to remember he lies to Mary in the sepulcher when he tells her to go tell the disciples that he did ascend, and he didn't. But he tell her to go lie. It's right in the book. He says, go and tell them I did when I didn't. That's a lie. And then when he goes to see the disciples later on, he eats. He's supposed to be a dead man. How the fuck is he eating? He got the holes in his hand. So he got the holes in his hand that would imply flesh. He's eating, that will imply he's alive. He told her to go lie and say he did sin, but he didn't. So think about that. And then there's a whole other book when he actually does. So yeah, something to think about. Let me see. Cooper, yeah, I've been in Long Beach. I did a flip in Long Beach. I sold the property there not too long ago, well, a few years ago. And best advice to become a millionaire, save your money. That's the key. Save. Save and invest. Save and invest. Because what's going to happen is the opportunity going to come across that is going to put you where you want to be at financially, and you're not going to have the money to take advantage of it. That's what usually happens to a lot of people. So many good investments come your way, and you don't got the money to take advantage of it because you didn't save. A lot of shit we think we need, we just don't need. We don't need the shit. And it takes a lot of discipline. I still play games with myself to save money, see how much I can save this month and try to beat that and everything. So a lot of it just takes cutting people off, which is tough to do because you think you're missing out on fun. If you're in your 20s, fuck everybody. Go to school, work, stack your money. Fun ain't going nowhere. When you get to a point when you're more comfortable, you'll be able to go out and do little shit. But like the 20s, you should be grinding. So your late 20s into your 30s, you're already there. You're comfortable. You're living good. And then, you go from there, make some good investments, save your money, get into real estate, and, just take it from there. It's not hard at all if you do what you're supposed to do. But the problem is we procrastinate, we cheat ourselves and a lot of things, and we procrastinate a lot. And a lot of people don't take advantage of shit they could easily come up from for whatever reason. Don't get caught up in a lot of shit you think you need, you don't need. Don't get caught up in a lot of the bullshit. Put your money away, save it, invest it, do smart shit with it, and you'll get to where you need to be. Yes, current. Yep, $39.99. So like usually it's $89.99. So I'm going through $39.99. It comes with all the other videos, so just think about how much that is. So there's 4 other videos you get that would normally be $89. And and it's $39.99. You're gonna get all 5 videos. So yeah, appreciate it for everybody who purchased it so far. I see the pop up on my phone that probably I think it's like 5 people so far purchased it. So I appreciate you guys. Darren Miles, what's the deal? Who created meditation? Meditation's been around for a long time. We have actual statues of Egyptians meditating, as well as reliefs of them meditating. Excuse me. But they break it down and explain it. So I talk about this in mystery school series, that how the Egyptians talk. Oh, this is probably the a Metal Netter series. So prepare for Metal Netter. But they talked about how they was able, or at least implied as much, as them being able to leave the body and come back. That was like a big thing back in ancient Kemet, them talking about it, and it was from meditative state. So you think about those monks who died in meditation, imagine being able to leave the body and then come back to it. So they talked about that, and that was like one of the purposes for meditation, but also to program yourself and to like really talk to your body, because we're not bodies, we're souls. We're just inside of a body. People, we don't say, oh, we got a soul. You don't have a soul, you have a body. I posted that. You are a soul, you have a body. So the way to communicate with the body and talk to the body is just starts from that consciousness level, then goes into energy, which speaks to your cells and everything else like that. So it's a smart thing to do to meditate, to get in touch with yourself and program yourself. The TV program you now, because you don't program yourself, but you program yourself, and then those things that we do, will become instant as far as walking the way that you program yourself to walk. So meditation is important. Definitely do it. It's a big deal. Are we living in a computer simulation? Yeah, kind of, sort of. This is not real. None of this stuff is real. It's hard to explain. A lot to explain. I'm gonna get into that. I got into it in a couple of videos, but it's a lot, to get into that understanding of it. Because all you know is all you know, and this is all we know. So when you start getting some knowledge to the contrary, it's hard to fathom. But the biggest thing that breaks all of it up, as far as this physical level, is the dream world. The dream world gives it away, because what's done there is impossible, and it feels real, and it's giving you that key to understanding that we are a lot more than just physical. Ephraim, I appreciate it. Peter, yeah, editing videos. Yeah, I talked about that before. It's a lot. I try. I'll be strapped for time. This shit is a lot of work. It's a lot to get into with that. So I appreciate it, and it's a lot of people who ask about tips on, and because a lot of people want to start posting videos and live streaming and stuff like that, and they always come back about the editing and what's the best software. I use Adobe Premiere Pro. Most of my products is Adobe. Adobe put out good shit. So Premiere Pro is what I use when I'm editing. Probably every single video I edited on here, I probably use Adobe Premiere Pro or Final Cut, but mostly Premiere Pro. It's a good program, but it's a lot. Like people don't understand. A half an hour video will take you hours to do if you're putting pictures. If you just do a video, see, I'm live streaming now. Sometimes in my brain I'm stopping to take a breath, but I'm live, and so it's not like how when I record. When I record, sometimes I stop, I go to the bathroom, I take a drink, I stop and I eat. You can't do that live, but you got to think about, you got to do all that, one. But two, when you go back to and you put it, on a cutting block, when you on a track and you're trying to edit it out, you gotta cut all that out. That's one. But then if you're trying to add a picture to prove a point, you gotta put that in there. If you're reading, you gotta put that in there. While you're recording, you're reading, you might burp or make a mistake, pronounce a word wrong. You gotta edit that out. So it's a lot, and that shit takes a lot of time. So, a lot of movies, and I said this before, a lot of movies come out, they shoot it like 2 years prior or a year prior, and it comes out a year later and everything like that. That's because the editing for a major motion picture, you know how long that shit takes? Like months for them to edit all that shit. That's how them editors get paid a shitload of money. That's a lot of work to do. Now, at that level, it's a lot of automation in the computers. It's a lot more easier, but even still, it's going to take you months to edit a freaking 2 hour or hour and some change movie. It's going to take you months to do it. So yeah, that's why movies come out like a year later, because the editing process is ridiculous. And then all that shit got to get okayed and all that. It's a lot to it. So editing or doing these videos is not easy, Yeah, alchemy, I know. A lot of people told me the same thing. They turned the notification on, still didn't get notified. This is how that shit been going. Yeah, IRS shenanigans is wrapping up. I should be hopefully out of this bullshit pretty soon. Oh yeah, people talking about actual powers, like, it's um I get into Dragon Ball Z and I talk about it. I mean, all that really goes back to Dream World stuff. When you really understand what that is, it's just what we should be able to do, but we're not able to do. As far as when you think about consciousness and energy and what we really are, like we are our soul inside of a body. But when you think about the energy that we have, which I talked about with Watchmen, that's what they're trying to allude to. Is we should be able to do some amazing shit, but then you got to look at the fact that our DNA is locked off in certain places and our brain is locked off in certain places. If it was unlocked, which they give you that kind of understanding in Lucy, the movie Lucy. If you haven't seen that, better go see it. Definitely watch that movie. But they give you that kind of understanding that if you have full access to the brain, and it will unlock so many different things in the body, and who knows what you would be able to do in the physical world if that was possible. Which I think we're the only people on the planet that have the capability of doing that, and we could possibly do that at some point, or at least get back to where the ancient Egyptians was. But they locked all that stuff up. Like we got fucking TV and so many things to distract us. We can't even unite as a people. There's a lot to fuck that up for us to be able to get into the conversation of having some type of power, like. And then they holding the keys to a lot of that information too. Excuse me. So yeah, as far as having actual power, that's gonna be highly unlikely in the state that we in as a people right now. Golden Goddess, what do I think about vegans? Vegans are nuts. There's nothing wrong with being a vegan though, but it's just like I had this whole conversation before, and I think vegans watch the same fucking video on Netflix about about being a vegan, meat and everything like that. They all watch that same video, and some of the points they brought up in the video is easily fucking debunked. Like especially the one about the gorillas, or like us not having sharp fangs to eat meat, so we shouldn't eat meat, but we can still eat meat. So you got to think about that. So the thing is, one, a gorilla who is super strong, has fangs, and has the strength to go and hunt any animal and rip it to pieces and eat it, but they don't because it's not in their nature. They just don't do it. We eat it because we're supposed to eat it. You get all your nutrients for your brain from meat. You can substitute some of those nutrients, of course. But in this country, they don't even list all the nutrients in meat because they only list the ones that you can supplement here. You go to Europe and other countries, they list all of the nutrients that's in meat that's good for your brain. The thing is, one, we didn't have any problems with meat until the government took over the meat supplies. Then there were problems. You don't see you've been eating meat on this planet for hundreds of thousands of years. No health issues. All of a sudden now, when they take control of it, we get all this bullshit, and they use Oprah with that mad cow shit back in the day to get all these laws passed, and they passed these laws secretly and quickly about the meat, and they basically made it law. We are the only country on the planet that passed the law for our government to put chemicals in our meat. I mean, think about that shit. So vegans, I understand being vegans is smart. I don't blame you guys. I try to eat less meat as possible because living in Sweden, I ate meat all day long, didn't gain a pound. Came back to America, I blew up. So I wish I could post pictures of how I used to look when I was over there. I lost a lot of weight now, but that was due to my me being sick for a little bit. But yeah, it's nothing wrong with being a vegan. I just hate when vegans be coming at people that eat meat like, oh, you're horrible, you eating creatures, that's a living animal, what have you. That's going against nature. At every level of existence, there's consumption. At every level of existence, we talk about even on the molecular level, You have bacteria consuming other bacteria, all the way up to us. You know, fish eating fish, animals eating animals. At every level of existence, you have consumption of a being consuming another being. So I can't say that it's wrong for us to do the same thing when everybody else is doing the same. Every other species, excuse me, is doing the same shit. Like, you know, it's just how it is. So I don't knock vegans. It's just, you know, you ain't taking away my meat. Let me see what time it is. I'm about to go soon. Yeah, exactly. So they had that whole documentary. It was Formicide, I think it was called. And remember, they was going and harassing those people who owned those farms. And shit, they locked up a bunch of Amish people for feeding people for free. So, like in that documentary, they were showing them basically going to a lot of these farms and shut them down, a lot of people up, because they wasn't putting chemicals in the milk. You know what I'm saying? They was giving you fresh, raw shit. And they were saying, oh, it's against the law because that has been proven to cause sickness and illness and diseases. When we've been doing this shit on this planet for fucking thousands of years without using no chemicals, and we still here. So why now all of a sudden they want to put chemicals in our food? Think about that. All this meat and everything making people sick. Listen, you got to go to a halal place or go to a butcher that, you know, has their own livestock. You can ask them, because some of those guys got their own livestock and they butcher and at their place and they sell it. And you got to get it right. I don't know, a lot of those guys are not regulated. There's a lot of butchers out here that got fresh meat. So if you can find it, get it and pay the money for it because it's expensive. But I recommend not eating none of this crazy GMO pumped up bullshit if you can do it. So being vegan is nothing wrong with that right now. Let me see. Oh, that's a good question. Oh yeah, the Mennonite colonies. Now, the Mennonite colonies just do shit like the Greeks, believe it or not. I don't know if they're Greek descendant because we have them, you know, they're all over America. But they just follow that. When you pay attention to their doctrine, it goes back to those ancient Greek, which we might as well say is pagan type of living or what have you. And then you got some of them that have their own made up like Bible thing. So, you know, the Amish and the Mennonites is just, they on their own shit, but they make real good bread. How things going to, 2030 is going to be, everything going to be done happen then. So 2030, the shit going to be done hit the fan. And hopefully it don't get as bad as it could possibly get. Again, like I said, it's going to come down to the people. There's militia groups and there's fucking a lot of people out there that's ready to fight. Once, if the dollar collapses is a problem or anything like that, these people are ready to take to the streets. They're ready to fight. And in their brain, they thinking that this country has been taken over. They know that part, but they thinking, you know, they got to save the country from these bankers and these fucking foreigners or what have you, you know, and Real America and all this and that crap. So yeah, and it's just gonna be just dumb, misinformed people out there fighting for no reason. It's no point. What's going to happen is inevitable. There is no stopping it. You know, it's just like the Terminator movie I said before. His job wasn't to prevent, you know, Skynet and Judgment Day. It was to survive it. It's going to be the same thing with this shit. You can't prevent it, survive it, get through it, be smart, make money from it, stock market, what have you, because a lot of people will. And they're going to come out on the other side of it, you know, a lot better off than, you know, what they've been. Let's see. Gotcha. With our eyes, I appreciate it. All right, so I'm gonna go because I gotta finish up this stock market video. It's gonna be out in a couple hours. So if you guys, the people who took advantage of the link it'll be there in the link. In about a couple hours, you'll see it pop up. But the other 4 videos are there. So give it like 2 hours or so, you'll see that one pop up. You'll be able to watch it. And it's also going to be a new video in a couple hours on YouTube, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, I appreciate you guys for coming here on the live stream. I will let you guys know ahead of time when I'll do another one. We only got 236 people at the height of this joint, I think it was. Probably is a little bit more. But yeah, I'll be back on here. I've been here for too long right now. I got to go. So I see you guys next stream. I appreciate you guys for coming out, and I'll answer some of those questions on the next one. All right, y'all. Peace.